What's up, guys? In today's video, we're going to take a look at someone who I consider a very underrated player in cricket, and that is Chris Cairns, the fast bowling all-rounder from New Zealand. Chris Cairns made his debut for New Zealand in 1989 and retired in 2006. And during that time, I feel like I said before, he was very underrated. And now when we look back, when we think of great all-rounders from the 90s, maybe we think of like players like Lance Klusener and Abdul Razak, but someone like Chris Cairns is for some reason left out of that discussion. When we look at his stats, test stats, batting average of 33.5 and test bowling average of 29.5. Those are really solid numbers for a test all-rounder. And then he was also really good in ODIs, just about 5,000 runs, 200 wickets, 5,000 runs, almost at an average of 29.5 with a strike rate of 84, which for someone who debuted in 1989, played the majority of their cricket in the 90s and then the early 2000s, a strike rate of 84 is really good. By comparison, we think of like someone like Abdul Razak as a really hard-hitting all-rounder. His strike rate in one-day cricket was 81. So Chris Cairns, having debuted prior in a less big-hitting time, still had a higher strike rate, and then bowling average of just under 33. So solid numbers for an all-rounder. And in this video, we're gonna look at some of his performances during his career, bowling performances and batting performances. And just one opinion I have is that I think Chris Cairns can consider himself a bit unlucky that he was born in 1970 and not maybe 1985 or 1990, because he was someone who was, I think, well ahead of his time in his playing style. Big hitting all-rounder, and then as a bowler, he had a very good slower ball, which we're going to look at. And I feel like with those skills he possessed, he would have made a lot of money in today's day and age of T20 cricket rather than back in the day when obviously the focus was more on ODI and Test, and T20 cricket barely even existed. So we're going to start with this video of Chris Cairns, 2 wickets and 3 balls against Australia. So one thing you'll notice here is in more of his younger days, he was genuinely quick. He was probably, I'll let it play. His average speed was probably in the high 130s with his top speeds, probably often hitting the low to mid 140s. So he was genuinely quick. Later in his career, he became, obviously with age, he became a bit slower, but he was still good, as those stats showed. Over here, you can tell he's just hurrying the batsman on in his younger days. Great delivery, gets a nip off the seam. Next delivery. You can tell that's quick. Great delivery, past the outside edge. Another good ball, and that's some classic commentary, I think. Tony Greig is the man. Here we have a video of him bowling Sachin Tendulkar in 1995, and again, you can tell he used to be very quick. Beautiful outswinging Yorker. Perfect delivery. Off stump flattened. Look at that, that's a beauty. Just tails away at the last second. Here we have another video of him bowling a batsman from the same tour, I think, 1995 Tour of India. Through the gate, in swinger this time. You see, he comes in through the gate, off stump, flying back. And then this brings us to the slower ball I talked about. He had this beautiful slower ball that, honestly, I have barely seen anybody master after him. It was one where he would let go of it, and it would come out in such a way that the batsman would think it's going to be a full-speed beamer coming at them. And that would cause them to duck it or play it weirdly, because they're expecting it to come at their chest or face. They're scared, obviously. But it just dips on them, and then it'll be either like a Yorker, or it could even be a full toss, or just land before the crease, like a full-length ball, but it would completely deceive batsmen. And we'll see it here in this clip. So the commentators say, "Oh, you never saw it," but it's not that you never saw it. It's that I'm sure the batsman thought it was gonna be a beamer, coming right at his chest or face, or maybe even over, but it dipped right under the batsman's bat. He didn't even play at it. He tried to duck it. As you can see here, dips on him through the leg somehow and bowls him. Here's another example of that very slower ball. Go on. It's with old grainy footage, it's a bit hard to see, but You will see in the replay too. In this replay, we'll actually see it come out of his hand, so we can exactly see how the slower ball worked. And I think David Lloyd, the commentator, you can also hear him say here that Chris Cairns has mastered this delivery.
We've seen this time and again from Chris Cairns. He's perfected this to some tune.
Dips on the batsman. Bit of an off cutter goes away too. Not that that mattered. He's already beat him in the dip, and gone. So those were his bowling performances. But as we saw from the stats, he was also a very capable batsman, and one of the best displays of that is the ICC Knockout Cup final of 2000, which is also called the Champions Trophy sometimes, although at the time it was called the Knockout Cup, where Chris Cairns comes in. I think New Zealand are chasing 265, and they're in a bit of a tough situation, and he pulls out a match-winning innings. Look, that was the power game he displayed in the 90s and 2000s. That much power wasn't that common in cricket back then, especially with smaller bats. Power, but also finesse, as we can see there. Just guiding the ball down to third man. Another great cut shot. Sachin Tendulkar bowling down the crease. Big six. Another powerful hit. It's gonna beat the fielder there. Yeah. Fantastic shot. Made space again. Beats the fielder. Made space and managed to get it over mid-off, although it was a delivery on his legs. Another big hit against a good bowler. That's a huge hit. That's gone well over the cameras to a good bowler, Anil Kumble. Again, not only brute power, but also some finesse. Match-winning 100 in a final of a tournament. The dream of every player, right? And then fittingly, it's Cairns who hits the winning runs to get New Zealand their one and only ICC trophy so far. Oh well, actually no, I'm wrong. They won the World Test Championship last year. What am I saying? So here, the last batting performance we're going to watch, or last performance in general from Chris Cairns. 1995, also against India, batting performance. Another big shot. Huge shot. Look at that. Ability like that wasn't common for players in the early 90s, mid 90s. Great shot. Cover drive. Sloppy fielding. Another great cover drive. Look at that, playing reverse sweeps in 1995. You see why I say that? I think he would have done very well in modern T20 cricket today. Look, another huge shot. Huge shots. I think that's onto the roof. Great shot. I think that's another six. Wow, that did not look like that would be four when he hit that. 99 off 83 balls. 1995. Honestly, that's fast innings by today's standards, but in 1995, it's probably like kind of unheard of. So if there were any doubts on his hitting ability when he retired, as you can see here, he's number 8th on the list of most sixes in Test cricket. But when he retired, he was actually on the very top when he retired in 2004 from Test matches with 87 sixes. And even now, if you look at those ahead of him, they're either modern cricketers or players who have played a lot more Test cricket than him, like 166 matches, 101 matches, 96 matches, compared to Cairns, who only played 62 matches. So he could hit a ball. So yeah, that was my video on Chris Cairns. Leave a comment below of some memories of him playing, but also if you agree with me that if he was maybe born in and played in today's generation, he would have done very well among today's T20 cricketers. Sadly, I have to end this video on a bit of a sad note. In the past year, Chris Cairns' health hasn't been great. As we can see here, in August 2020, He was reported to be on life support after suffering a major heart attack. And then also on February 5th of this year, he revealed on his Instagram that he was diagnosed with bowel cancer. So if you made it this far into the video, maybe we can just make some wishes and prayers that Chris Cairns gets better soon. Hopefully he can beat the illnesses he was fighting and get well soon.